Welcome to the official Zero Hero crowdfunder campaign. In this video, you will find out all the information about the campaign and what inspired the creation of this story. Now let's get started. Hi guys, I'm Nikki Wolf.
I'm Richard Almonte.
And we're the creators of
Zero Hero Manga!
So Zero Hero Manga is about a hero turned to zero named Azuki Wolf, who basically became an online creator. And fast forward 4 years later, her brother Victor starts to knock on her door. It's like, hey, we kind of need you back in hero work. And he doesn't want to tell her why. There are motives, there's reasons why he wants her back into hero work. But it turns out to be like something really hard for her to get back into it because she quit it for a reason, which we'll touch that in the story, of course. But she basically has a hard time trying to get back into it. And it's kind of like comical at first because, you know, she tries to put on her suit, her hero suit, and doesn't fit because she's a little pudgy now because like all that she does is content creating and eating online, and people, like thousands of people watch her. So she's a very popular hero, basically.
Richter is like constantly just trying to, motivate her to do better. And she's just constantly just battling with him about it and just refuses. And he kind of feels bad because he sees that that's not the true her anymore. It's just a mask she's putting on. And there's clearly something wrong in that area, and then he doesn't want to constantly bring it up.
Well, it gets to a point in the story where Victor does have to get a little bit more stern with Azuki, and basically it's like, hey, we really, really need you, but I don't want to tell you, right? And then the bubble bursts, and he has to tell her why they need her back in hero work. The story behind Azuki is that there's a lot of traumas and PTSD and a lot of what we call imposter syndrome that happens in like your daily life, right? You can be at work and you feel imposter syndrome. You feel like, man, I'm not really good enough. I failed at this and I'm not like, so you start kind of like hating on yourself. And truthfully, that kind of spirals down into like a hole where you can't seem to get out of. So in the story, we wanted to touch about the fact that does happen IRL, and this character is going through all this PTSD, traumatic events that happened in her past as a hero, and the imposter syndrome that came with it. So for her, it's really important to break out of that. So the story basically is like her uprising. It's like you go from being a zero to a hero rather than like a hero to zero. Yeah, so in the story, Azuki is kind of self-destructive when you first bump into her. When Richter basically is trying to get her out of her shell, she's like, I don't really want to do this. I just want to like play video games and eat food and just leave me alone. Like, I don't want to be a hero. It's not my thing. I quit it for a reason. And, Richter, of course, is like, okay, we got to get her out of this funk. Like, you can't stay like this forever. And so that's really like the true thing about the story is that, how to overcome all of, depression and anxiety and imposter syndrome I mentioned earlier.
Like, those are things that people really struggle with on a day-to-day. And I think that kind of showing the story and how the mental Olympics that you kind of do throughout the day and how hard it is just to literally just get up and change your clothes. For some people it is. And that's kind of what this kind of shows, and that I think when people read this, they're going to be like, they can have that connection and kind of see themselves being able to actually break out of that eventually, And just those tiny steps is what matters. It's just, even if it's like today, I'm just going to get up and just actually clean something, do whatever, brush your teeth, even if it's that small.
That's very true because also with depression and anxiety and all that comes with it, a lot of people tend to disassociate,
Mm-hmm.
and then they tend to hermit. Even if you're an extrovert, you tend to hermit, right? Because you feel so overwhelmed with life and like, you just feel like, oh, I can't handle it. And a lot of the times people also find comfort in pets over like humans. So you'll see in the story that Azuki basically rescues 2 little dogs, which turn out to be something a lot bigger later in the story. But these 2 little guys are like her life. And it's really what keeps her smiling every day and going, besides eating. She loves food. So being alone in her thoughts is very destructive for her. So that's why she's constantly streaming for hours and constantly just eating. Like her favorite place is the Lucky Cat Pizza, which we'll see a lot in the story. And yeah. So you'll see her like having stacks of pizza boxes when she's streaming because like that's her way of self-soothing. Is just like not thinking about what's happened in the past and then just like just living in the online world, just eating and playing online. And so, but you'll see eventually that things start to kind of unravel. You'll start seeing like why she is in this kind of mental space, and our hopes, and what we want to do is to make sure that everybody knows that, like, even though you're in this mental space, you can get out of it. There's a way out. It's, as hard as it can be sometimes, there is a way out of that. And it's just gonna, like, it's gonna be a little bit of everything, because at the end of the day, like, representation is important. Having somebody to look up to is important. So we want to make sure that everybody feels included and loved and accepted. And you have a hero that you can look up to and be like, yeah, I'm gonna dress up like this character. I'm gonna go to a con like this, because finally there's a character I can relate to. And that's what's important, because we want people to be able to, like, in their, like, heart, relate to these characters. So our primary goal, is to fund for the first volume. So currently what we're doing is that we're releasing on Webtoons and other, like, online comic book sites. We're releasing short stories that are like background stories to Azuki. They're not part of the main story, although they do give background stories to the character. So we're doing short stories online, but we want to release an actual manga volume, like you see back here. That's what we want. So besides that, we have our main goal of getting one of our volumes created. We also have some other ideas for Zero Hero Manga, and it's something very interactive. I came up with this idea that you can interact with the main character live on basically a streaming platform. So if you guys have ever heard of VTubing, our character Azuki is going to be an actual, like, character you can talk to. So not only are you going to be reading this, like, story about a content creator who was a hero and then, like, is, like, struggling through her mental past, you can actually go and talk to her IRL. Like, you can join a stream and she is there. So that is one of our goals, is that we want to make this manga interactive and something like people can look forward to. So, like, if you want advice from Azuki, you can go to that stream and be like, oh, okay, let's have a chat with the actual character, the main character of Zero Hero. And, she's there just like the actual story. Both our artists are super amazing. One of them is currently based out of Japan, and the other one is based out of the Philippines. So we work remotely currently, but we do have, like, a lot of amazing people that are working on the project. Not just artists, but we also have, like, voice actors, from, like, professional to, like, aspiring voice actors. And I really love, like, having all these characters, like, come to life, as you'll see. Like, some of the voice actors that are working with us are amazing. Like, we were able to create characters for them, because this project is supposed to be, like, fun and inspiring. And we wanted to give these actors, like, a place to be able to express themselves, because they're always voicing other characters. So we wanted to give them a little, like, here you go, this is yours, you do this, you make this, like, you deserve this. Make a character that you feel happy with.
So one of our long-term goals is to eventually turn this manga into an anime, and that's something we would really love to see.
So we do have, like, a couple of, like, stretch goals. And when you see the campaign running, you're going to notice that we have a couple that we listed. One of them obviously is a VTubing thing. Another one is a music video. So we have currently a OST that we're working on for Zero Hero Manga. And you probably already heard the song, or you're hearing the song. It's basically by Helen Tess, and it is an acoustic version, sample version of the Zero Hero theme song. And it's about Azuki's feelings. So our goal is to eventually animate this, and we're going to start with a music video. So if we hit that stretch goal, we're going to make an anime music video first that kind of tells a little bit of the story without spoilers. And hopefully, as the volumes release and more crowds kind of check it out, and the popularity increases, we hope to turn it into an anime.
Were you able to convince Azuki to return to hero work?
Miracles make me drag my feet through the halls where all the lovers meet. I can't recall feeling anything and feeling small when you were beside me, but I haven't been around here since I fell back down to earth. How could I claim to be a hero knowing zero's what I'm worth? Who am I to decide if I deserve to have it all when I
this campaign. It really means a lot to us.
It really does. Thank you so much.